Today, I want to talk with you about a topic that has had a pretty big influence in my life and in my writing. And this is about how to stop starting over. Now, I was the queen of starting over. I had lived in 8 different locations by the time I was in my mid-20s. I had started 8 different books. I was always reinventing myself. And at that age, I mean, it sort of makes sense, but this kind of carried on where I was always looking to change things. And it was especially when my in my writing, when it would get into the middle part, I would change my mind and want to start over again. And when I say stop starting over, this doesn't mean that you never leave what you're doing. I mean, I'm all about people starting new careers, new relationships, new jobs, moving to new locations. But if what you're seeking is the novelty of it, and that's the reason you're changing, if you're really doing it for the dopamine hit, then you're never going to be able to complete anything. And that's sort of what happens when I was writing too. It's always that middle where you start to realize that, okay, well, this plot isn't working, the characters aren't working, I don't know what's going on anymore, I don't know what chapter to write next. And then you decide to start over again. And this happens with all other areas of life. I mean, that happens with relationships, it happens in the place that you're living, it can happen with your job, it can happen with your career, where you get past the stage where it's all exciting, and then you think that it'll be much better to do something else. Well, a lot of times it's not really your intuition telling you to move on to something else, it's that discomfort. It's the discomfort with continuing where you're at and seeing it to completion. Now, a lot of times there is very much a valid reason to leave what you're doing. I mean, one of the sayings that I really enjoy is that a lot of times people's lives aren't bad enough, so they don't change. They're waiting for a rock bottom. And you don't have to wait for a rock bottom to change the situation. That's not what I'm talking about. But one of the things also I want to say is that even when you do start a new career, a new job, a new book, a new chapter in whatever it is you're doing, don't view it as starting over from zero. Because then you're sort of taking a wrecking ball to the house that you've already built instead of realizing you actually have a strong foundation. Even if you're going from working as an architect to now working as an illustrator or now working as an engineer or now working at a coffee shop, you're still bringing your knowledge, your skills, your experience with you. So instead of thinking about it as I'm tearing everything down, I'm tearing up the chapter before and I'm starting all over, think about it as layering on top. Because no matter what it is that you're experiencing in life, even if you've just gone through a bad breakup, you still have all those lessons that you've learned, and you're still not becoming a completely new person. You're layering on top of what you already have done and experienced. If you're moving into a completely new career, you're still bringing that unique blend of knowledge, skills, and experience with you. And the same goes with your writing. You're bringing who you are. Even if this is the first book you've ever written, don't discount all of the life experience that you've had and everything that you've had. Don't think that I just don't know anything, I'm starting over all fresh, because you're really not. You've done a lot, you've experienced a lot, and stop discounting your experience and don't think about it as starting all over. Sometimes it can be kind of fun to say that, though, to say, I have a new identity, I'm a new person, I'm starting in a whole new life. And that's great to change and to start over. But before you do that, think about the reason you're doing it. Is it your intuition telling you to do it? Or is it just because you're seeking novelty? Or is it because you don't want to finish what you've started? Is there really a valid reason you're making this change? And then once you made that change, instead of thinking of it as I'm going to tear everything down and start over from zero, think about it as how do I bridge into this new life, this new identity, this new career, this new relationship? What can I take and layer on top so I'm building something even stronger and more beautiful versus starting all over from zero and acting as if I'm a 5-year-old child? So just want to give you something to think about when it comes to starting over and what you tell yourself when it comes to starting over, whether it's your book or your relationship or your career or whatever that is for you. Because if you can layer on top of it, then you're really going to be able to have that strong foundation and keep building versus, starting and having to rebuild everything from the ground up.